Welcome to the EOB podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new openings this week. I'm Binh, and joining me is Senh Dong. So, Senh, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, hey,
3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, 3 weeks in a row. So, let's keep the streak going.
Okay.
Okay, let's jump right in. Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation has the top spot once
Okay,
again.
I'm gonna have to Kanye West you there.
But you're gonna let me
Yeah,
finish, right?
no. We can keep the streak going, but can the Fantastic Four keep it going?
But we're jumping ahead of ourselves, right?
Yeah. All right, let's go. Okay, back to you.
Okay. Let's go. Before I was Kanye West, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation coming in number one for the second week in a row. Made 29.4 million, a 47% drop in the second weekend, and it made 108 million so far.
You know, with some of blockbusters, if you're able to retain 50% of your original opening weekend gross, is pretty good. And this one, the drop off is only 47%.
Yeah, and worldwide it's already at 265 million. So this looks like it's gonna be one of the bigger Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it seems like Tom Cruise is back in the game despite all this stuff about Scientology and his personal life.
He can choose his scripts, and he produces his own movies. So basically, if a movie fails, it's really on him. I mean, if he chooses to do something a wacky movie, for example, like Valkyrie or something like that, one of his rare misses.
Yeah. Although even Valkyrie,
even that made 87 million domestic. I mean, 83 million domestic.
Yeah, that wasn't that big of a miss. I guess it's kind of odd. I guess the only even you can't really even call Rock of Ages a miss, because that's kind of out of his action adventure genre, because Rock of Ages made 38.5 million. There was a period other than the I guess we're still in it, other than the Mission Impossible movies, where he's no longer getting the kind of grosses he's used to getting. He's not getting the $100 million movies. It's kind of in the 80s and 90s. Even though they're well reviewed, even though they're kind of well regarded, like Edge of Tomorrow, Oblivion, Jack Reacher. I mean, Night and Day and Valkyrie are not too well reviewed, but they're all kind of decently well reviewed. So you do kind of see that the whole Scientology and his whole personal life is affecting his box office a little bit. In his career, he's used to getting movies that open to around 25 to 30 million and then end up making over 100 million. Instead of 100 million, it's like 80 to 90 million. Which isn't too far off.
Which is respectable. I mean,
yeah,
right?
Respectable. Yeah, which means hey, as long as he's in good movies, people will still go and watch him despite his belief system and his personal life.
Well, I would have to say that those are still an issue, but I think enough time has passed that people are willing to forget about it.
Yeah.
I mean, take for example, let's come back to Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? He is not so far removed from his political days that people are going out to watch his movies.
I think with Arnold, it's a little bit more than that. I mean, he completely dropped off. He's the governor of California. He's not like the president of the United States. So even if Californians didn't like what he did, the rest of the country shouldn't be too affected by it.
California is big, and he gets national attention regardless if he's the governor of California because of who he is, right?
Yeah.
And then I think there's a lot of bad things going on while he was governor that people are saying, hey, I'm not sure if I want to support this guy.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if they're that bad, though. I mean, like, sure, he let some people out of jail that he shouldn't, but every governor and every president has done it. The other thing is, sure, the economy wasn't as good as it could be, but almost every state has it. The whole country was in an economic funk, and he's no different. So I don't think they're that bad. And then he fathered an illegitimate child, which is pretty bad. But again, celebrities, they do stupid things like that. It could be, a combination of that. But Tom Cruise has shown that, his personal life do affect it, but not that much. I mean, Arnold went from A-list to kind of direct to video. No one's watching his movies. And the things that he did aren't as bad as Mel Gibson, where, Mel Gibson's like, hey, I hate Jews. That's really bad. And then, the stuff that he said to his ex-wife / then girlfriend, when he was drunk, those are pretty bad. Whereas I feel like Arnold's wasn't that bad. It has more to do with the fact that he's an action hero who's done decent in comedies, but other than that, he doesn't really have that much of a range. He hasn't been able to kind of reinvent himself in the action genre to draw an audience. I think it's a little bit more than just his personal life.
I think what you say is definitely true, but I don't underestimate that the fact that like his political career affects people on a very personal level, right? And to like most politicians, they do the things and they don't have to do movies and ask people to like them. Being a movie star is really about likability, right? People want to watch that person. What he did in his political career, and then come back to the movies, and then he has to ask people, hey, I'm a nice guy, suspend your disbelief. And I think that's kind of tough for some people to overcome. I mean, a lot of what you say is true too, but I think in addition to that, people don't like this guy.
There's a certain level, but I don't think he did something that's nearly as heinous as what Mel Gibson said. Which is basically, I hate to.
What Mel Gibson did is just more on a personal level, right? It's like, it doesn't really affect anyone's life. And now Mel Gibson's not working anymore, really. But Tom Cruise is different as well. Like he knows how to distance himself from all these things. And when confronted, I guess he kind of laid back. But whereas Mel Gibson kind of doubled down.
Yeah, in post interviews, he kind of doubled down. Yeah, Tom Cruise just kind of kept silent, which is great. That's what Mel Gibson needed to do, but sometimes it just seems like he couldn't help himself. It just kind of all comes out.
Mel Gibson felt that he was invincible, and then he could say anything he wants and have it not affect him. But then like when your persona gets so toxic, you couldn't sell the movie. Then that's when Hollywood turns its back on you.
You do make a good point that Arnold's political life affects people on a personal level. I think it has more to do with his adjustment to being an action hero at his age and the limited range that he has. Because with even with Stallone, you can see that on certain movies he no longer has that draw that he used to have. But with Stallone, he can write and he can direct and he can produce, so he can get his own projects off the ground. But outside of the Expendables, he hasn't been that like Arnold. His career has taken a nosedive.
People still like Stallone, whereas Arnold, people doesn't like it. That's the point. It's not the level of badness of his political career. I'm saying that his persona took a beating. Like they don't like him anymore. A lot of being a star is like people liking you.
I don't know. Do people hate Arnold that much though?
I think they do. It's just like it's because like his.
I mean, in terms of the stuff that he's done compared to Mel Gibson, it's not that it's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but no.
That's what I'm saying. Well, let's put it this way: in terms of percentage, what percentage of his political career, and the fact that he had an illegitimate child and cheated on his wife, has on his box office compared to just he's an action hero and he's just old. Like how and that adjustment, what percentage do you put on that adjustment versus?
Seriously, I can't really measure, but I would say maybe what 20%.
20% is the adjustment, and 80% is the politics and the personal life affecting.
No. I'd say 20% is his politics. It's like
okay. I would agree with that. I say the political and the personal stuff is 20%, but the other 80% is just that with his limited range and his age, he's just not adjusting to it.
Yeah, that's true. It's like when the audience tune you out, okay, they don't like you anymore. It's not about how bad of the deeds, what kind of thing you did, right? It's like once you're at the level where people don't like you anymore and are not willing to pay money to watch you, you're not there. You're not able to work anymore. Like Mel Gibson, I mean, he said some stuff, right?
Yeah, but
and that's all he did. But then. But
Arnold's is nowhere near Mel Gibson level.
No, but again, he reached a point where people don't like him. You know what I'm saying? It's not what he did. It's like he broke this thing that people don't see him as this big, lovable guy, funny guy anymore.
Yeah. Although I mean, with Tom Cruise, I think if you compare to Arnold and to Tom Cruise. Maybe Arnold's a little bit worse, but the stuff about Scientology is pretty bad. So I think what the difference with Tom Cruise is he's made some decent movies. Arnold, The Last Stand was okay, but it wasn't like it's kind of like an old school, low budget action movie, whereas you're used to seeing big budget sci-fi, blockbusters from Arnold. And Sabotage was just not a very entertaining action movie. If he chose better movies, people would forget about the 20%. Kind of like what Tom Cruise did. Despite people hammering the Scientology stuff, he's still able to have a decent draw at the box office, mainly just because he chose decent movies. And he's able to adjust. He doesn't have that limited range.
Yeah, here's the thing. Arnold doesn't have that voice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, should we?
All right. Somehow that dovetailed into Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Fantastic Four.
Oh, our favorite movie of the week.
Yeah.
Okay, Fantastic Four coming in number 2, pulled in 26.2 million, and it only pulled in 26.2 million. That's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, with a budget of 120 million. What were we predicting?
I was going high. I was saying 50. You said around between 40 to saying
And both of us were way up.
And when I looked at the Friday numbers, like, whoa, is this serious? I have to do a double take. Saying that the movie's going to make somewhere half of that.
Here's the thing. I think most people in the industry were in your range, 50 or above, mainly because the previous two have made open to 56 and 58 million respectively. So they were expecting this to be at that level. But before that, people say, oh, reviews don't matter. But geez, 9% on the tomato meter has some kind of effect. And it just kind of went downhill from there when, like you said, when I saw 11 million and nearly 3 million of that was from a Thursday evening screening. So we really only made about 8 million on Friday. And so I'm like, whoa, like you said, that's really low. Saw the movie last Monday, I think. Last Monday or Tuesday. In Sacramento, they decided not to do a promotional screening. So it was just a limited, even if it was just a media screening, there were only like at most 10 people who went. So usually like the media take up like half of I still question them, every time I go, I'm like, whoa, there are that many media members in Sacramento. A lot of times they take up half of the seats. And this one, there's only like several. And I was like, wow, they're really afraid of the bad word of mouth. They didn't even bother to do a promotional screening for a big event movie like this. So when I saw that, I'm like, whoa. And then when I saw the movie, the interesting thing is I feel like the first 2/3 of the movie is actually pretty good. It is an origin story, kind of like the first Fantastic Four, but it almost seemed like it's from a parallel universe. You have the same characters, except they're younger. They do get their powers, except how they got their powers is kind of different. As a sci-fi movie, it was pretty engrossing and engaging for the first 2/3, up to the point when they got their powers. And I feel like once they got their powers, the Oscar theme music came on, and they're like, okay, we have to end it. Let's grab the 4 of them. Let's tell the audience a year later, they somehow figure out how to use their powers and are all okay, and they're coming together, and let's just throw them into the other parallel universe / another planet / another dimension where they can fight Doom. And you're just like, whoa, they just got their powers and they were, in pain and, trying to adjust, and suddenly you decided to just throw them in another planet and have them throw CGI rocks at each other and call it a movie. We heard of, behind the scenes issues with the director and how the studio took the movie from them. And you do get that feeling that the first 2/3 of the movie is what the director wanted. And then the studio just came in and go, look, we gotta, you're hitting your budget, we gotta end this. So we gotta end this in a way that, these comic book movies usually end, which is with, world destruction and, the good guys fighting the bad guy. And
yeah, you heard about the tweet that Josh Trank sent out, right? On Friday. When the movie was opening, say, hey, it's like, oh yeah, this movie wasn't mine. I have nothing to do with this movie.
I'm kind of on his side because I feel like 2/3 of the movie was pretty good. You know, it's kind of like a Chris Nolan version. He tried to keep everything grounded in reality, and it's kind of dark. I actually thought it was done pretty well, and it's, you know, I followed it all the way through, and it's pretty interesting. And you do get the feeling that towards the end, the studio just kicked him off the stage and said, "Hey, you know, the Oscar music came on. They kicked him off the stage and says, you know, and threw together a ending."
Yeah, it seems like they ran out of money, and you know, hey, they have to do something to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, a superhero movie these days by default, right? I think would open somewhere in the 40s to 50 million, just, you know, like by default, right?
Yeah.
And then I say that you have to do something really, really wrong for it to make less than that.
Yeah. And this is what's wrong with it. 2/3 of the movie is an origin story. There's no, you know, there's no action and there's no fun in it. Not the typical stuff you see in superhero movies. So people looking for action and fun would be disappointed by it. And people looking for a good movie would be disappointed by it because they're like, hey, the first 2/3, you know, is build up is pretty good. With all this build up, you have a really crappy ending that's just kind of cobbled together, thrown together at the last minute. So you disappoint both groups of people. You disappoint people who wanted to go in and see a good movie, and you disappoint those people who are going in to look for action and fun.
This is just the opening weekend, right? Opening weekend,
Yeah.
people are normally, like, if they're really fans of the series, right? They are excited about the movie and they would want to watch. Like, what you say afterward is when they word of mouth went out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is just the opening weekend. Like, no one knows what it is. They haven't seen it. Right.
No.
You know, you expect there would be this huge rush. That's why I'm saying that the huge opening number, like for a superhero movie, but it may have that.
Yeah.
This movie isn't really on anyone's radar.
Yeah, the Thursday screenings were actually okay, but I think the bad word of mouth started spreading from there. People have heard a lot of negative buzz about it, and then they see the really bad reviews. I mean, it's like really bad, 9%. But
it's kind of like Elektra.
Yeah, or worse. So
Elektra and Catwoman around like 4 or 5%.
Oh, holy crap! Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's at that.
Fantastic Four is around there.
Yeah, so it's at that level of bad, and it kind of just snowballed from there.
Yeah, and the cinema score is a C minus. Yeah.
Yeah. So people, I mean, C minus is pretty much like a F minus, because on average, most movies, no matter how bad, gets a B plus. Rarely do you see a C, and a C minus is like reserved for the most horrible horror film. It's just too bad. It's one of those movies where I feel like it would be great to just see the director's vision, the studio go with his vision from beginning to end. Then you at least know that, hey, you know, this is his vision, and you know it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But now you only see 2/3 of it, and you feel like, you know what? 2/3 of it actually work, and then you have the studio's involvement at the last 1/3, and you're just kind of like, It's one of those things where it's like unfilled potential. It has the potential to be good, but we can't see it.
Okay, like I said in the last podcast, where the Fantastic Four goes from here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's
gonna go back to Marvel.
Right. I mean, Marvel calls Fox and say, "Hey, let's go on that lunch meeting that you've been putting off." Right. So obviously a failure unless it does well overseas, which I don't see happening.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either.
Okay, they are not going to reboot this movie again unless they're Sony. The writing is on the wall for Fantastic Four as a standalone movie, I think.
Unless they can get Brad Bird to direct it, because basically the most successful Fantastic Four movie is The Incredibles. Yeah.
True, but the thing is, they're scrambling at this point. I feel like the brand took a beating with this movie. This shows that, hey, you know, we couldn't continue this anymore. We could not reboot it anymore. They are not going to make a second movie.
They're not. That is done. Yeah, there's no sequel to this.
Yeah, because the sequel is not going to happen, right? Even regardless, I don't know who they can bring in to say, hey, we're going to do a Fantastic Four movie. Then they're going to hire this big shot director, and they have a lot of negative press going for this movie, right?
Right.
You know, it's a certified bomb.
Yeah. critically and commercially.
Yes, and you're trying to convince people say, hey, we are going to make another Fantastic Four movie. Obviously, they couldn't do it with the same people anymore.
And even if they do want to do it, they're like, hey, we should just wait until it goes to Marvel. Those guys know what they're doing. If I'm going to make a Fantastic Four movie, I would rather make it with Marvel instead of Fox.
Right.
Yeah. So
right, if they continue the story, right, they need to bring in the same people, the same people. So, the same actors.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen because like these actors prove that they couldn't pull it off.
It's not a problem with the actors. It's more a problem with the production. That's all you can say.
Yeah. Anyway, this aura of thing, you cannot rinse out the stink from this movie.
Yeah.
It's attached to everybody involved right now.
Yeah. Hey, Brad Bird is doing The Incredibles too. So if people want to see a really well done Fantastic Four movie, they can get it from Pixar.
Right. And I don't think Fox would want to hand, because Brad Bird wants to do his own stuff.
You know what? Here's the interesting thing. When it goes back to Marvel, it basically goes back to Disney, who also owns Pixar. Then, they can probably talk Brad Bird into rebooting it.
Give me a reason why Brad Bird would want to do this.
It could be interesting. It's basically a live action version of The Incredibles.
I know, but he has already done The Incredibles, and he's doing The Incredibles 2. Unless they give him free reign for this movie, I don't see him taking it.
Yeah, they probably would. They're now under the Disney brand. He can definitely say, "Hey, I made the most successful Fantastic Four movie for Pixar, The Incredibles." Unless The Incredibles 2 completely bombs, which I don't see happening.
Right, and here's the thing: I don't see a standalone Fantastic Four movie coming anytime soon, regardless if it's from Fox or from Disney.
Yeah, plus Disney. The other side of that is Disney could be like, well, if you want to make another Fantastic Four movie, just make The Incredibles 3.
Why pay money to Fox?
Energy? Yeah,
because they have to share money with Fox.
Not share money with Fox. I mean, when the rights goes back to Marvel, it's owned by Marvel, right?
It is, but the thing is, like, they could, make these movies. They can continue to keep the rights in house, right? They say, oh, okay, the rights are about to expire. We'll just throw out another cheapie.
Oh, right. Yeah. But I'm saying if and when Fantastic Four goes back to Marvel,
I don't see that happening because I think Fox would want to keep it. They would rather do the Sony deal where the rights remain with Sony, except Disney, takes care of the direction, or Marvel takes care of the direction, and they can integrate that character and use cross promote their own films.
Right.
So I think Fantastic Four is too big of a property for Fox to let go or want to let go.
Mm-hmm. And this is the first bomb, because of the first two Fantastic Four, despite not being well reviewed, they still did pretty well. They opened huge.
I'm saying, don't underestimate the box office potential of Jessica Alba.
I'm saying it's Chris Evans, man.
Yeah, Chris Evans too, but Chris Evans too, right? But Kate Mara, Jamie Bell, Miles Taylor, they are not, Chris Evans or Jessica Alba.
Right.
So I definitely see Fantastic Four going back to, well, in the sense that they, they're going to do the Sony.
You see them doing a Sony / Spider-Man deal with Marvel.
Yes, and if we're going to see the Fantastic Four against anytime soon, it's going to be in one of Marvel's movies. With other characters, they're going to appear as side characters for the time being, and then once enough time has passed, they're going to come out with their own movies.
Yeah.
So everything that went wrong did, and Marvel's master plan is coming together. They somehow planted Josh Trank at Fox and sabotaged the movie.
Yeah.
Now it's the rights for some, Fantastic Four is going back to Marvel. Say, Josh Trank, how about a Star Wars movie? Yeah, you like that? Here's what you need to do.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, Trank is not doing the Star Wars movie anyway. So he's going to focus on a smaller movie, supposedly.
All right, let's move on to another surprise except this a good surprise. Another new movie, The Gift, came in at number 3 with 12 million They made a movie for only 5 million, so they're already making a profit. And 12 million is not like a huge number, but that's surprisingly good for this film. It's a low budget film. It's written and directed by an actor. The tomato meter is what, 93%. A very well reviewed film, especially for a debut director. And the box office is pretty good. 12 million is not bad.
Yeah, compared to the budget, it's really good. I mean, Fantastic Four could only wish it has the the margin.
Same kind of multiple, yeah.
Yeah, I had my doubts about this movie because it stars Jason Bateman, Rebecca Hall, Joel Edgerton, who also wrote and directed the movie, and it looks like one of these thrillers that you see kind of on straight to video.
Yeah, I had my doubts too. I saw the trailer. I'm like, I don't know, because Jason Bateman, I like him. He's been successful, with comedies, but this is a thriller. And Joe Edgerton, he's been pretty good, with dramas and we never seen him direct a film before. So, and the trailer wasn't like, "Ooh, I gotta see this," but surprisingly, really well reviewed.
Yes, and I believe I thought the movie would probably pull in like 3 million over the weekend.
I was saying, what was I saying? Like 5?
I think I think you say about 5. So, but like it overperformed both of our expectations.
Yeah,
with 12, I think it surprised everyone too, because like it's this movie is distributed by this STX Entertainment. It's like the first movie ever.
So, it's a new film studio.
Yeah, kind of.
First film.
It's like you and me. We financed a movie and we released it.
Right. So yeah, it did a lot better than what people in the industry were predicting, including us.
Okay, let's move on. Let's see, number 4. It's a Vacation. Made 9.1 million. In the second week, experienced a 37.7% drop, and in 2 weeks, it made 37 million.
It's holding up pretty well. 38% drop off is not too bad. And sure, the budget is 30 million, but it's already made 37, so it's gonna be a hit.
I predicted that it would do way better, like 35 million over 5 days, I guess, in this opening weekend or something like that. But then it made 26?
Yeah, not even that. It's like 21 million or something.
21. Oh, okay, yeah. It wasn't as good as people were saying it would do.
Yeah,
mainly because, like, I guess you said that the trailer with people in a frenzy at these trade shows, CinemaCon or Show West or one of those things, and people were predicting a higher number based on those. And then when the numbers came in, and say, "Oh, it's not doing as well as we thought it would do."
Yeah, I was expecting it to do poorly, and the interesting thing is it came in somewhere in between. It didn't do spectacularly well, but it didn't bomb like I was expecting. It's somewhere in the upper middle. It's gonna be a hit because the original Chevy Chase one made 61 million total, and I was saying that it will make nowhere close to that, and it looks like it can make close to that. It looks like it'll definitely make at least 50, and now it can make at this rate it can get close to 61, which for Ed Helms is and for a movie with a budget of just 30 million, it's a decent sized hit.
Right. The Chevy Chase's Vacation movies has a couple sequels. You think that'll be the case with this new Vacation reboot?
At its current pace, I think it can be, and it looks like it might top up at around 55 million, depending on how it does in the coming weeks. And if it holds up well, it can reach 60 million. If it reaches 60 million, that's twice its budget domestically. That's enough for more sequels, I think.
So you think the magic number is 60?
55 would do too.
All right, then we'll see if we can do 55.
Yeah.
Then we'll be heading to another vacation.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll go to different kind of vacations. Instead of Europe, they'll go to Asia. But then people will be thinking The Hangover.
Oh, the Great Wall of China. Whoa. How do we go from here to there? Wally World.
Yeah.
They're opening up a Wally World in China, so they need to go there.
Right. Yeah, I think this is the first decent sized hit that Ed Helms carried, because the Hangover movies were more carried by, it's kind of an ensemble.
Yeah, it's an ensemble, so you know, even the monkey too.
Bradley Cooper, and everyone else.
Yeah. What's that? Mr. Chow, who's played by Ken Jeong.
And then James Gan.
No, it's Zach
Zach.
Galifianakis. Anyway, we butchered your name, but you know who we're talking about.
Right.
Okay. So we will keep an eye out to see if Vacation can reach the magic number, 55 million. If that happens, then supposedly a sequel will happen. We see more Vacations.
It's not that well reviewed, right? 25%.
Yeah, it's like in the 20s.
Yeah, but if they're making money, they'll probably make more.
Right, but you know, it could be one of these movies that are not a priority, like in the back burner. If people come together, the schedule all align, everything, money works out, then they'll do it, but not a high priority.
Plus, the thing is, can they convince Ed Helms to come back since it's so poorly reviewed?
Wait, you think it's gonna be hard to convince Ed Helms to come back? I mean, he made some money with the Hangover movies.
The movies that he's done have been pretty well reviewed. I mean, he might look at this and go, "Whoa, this is not a very good film. Sure, it made money, but do I want to be associated with it?" Because the movies that he made, even though they only get like limited to 300 or 400 theaters, they were well regarded.
Well, here's the thing. Normally, when they people sign on for a potential franchise, they have contracts for a couple movies.
Oh, that's true. So we probably can't even turn it down.
Yeah, if we make it, you're coming back.
Right.
Yeah, he's probably contracted for at least 2 Vacation movies, and they'll take it from there. But I don't think it's gonna be hard. Even that, I don't think it's gonna be hard to convince Ed Helms to come back.
Right, because he's probably not getting paid too much for his limited releases, even though they've been well reviewed.
Yeah, he needs that paycheck, even though he made some money with the third Hangover movie, but it was only like what, 5 million or 10 million.
Right.
So, but after the government gets a chunk of it, then he's not left with much.
Right. Relatively speaking. Relatively speaking. If you're a normal person got the kind of money that he's gotten, it's like winning a lottery. All right, let's move on to number 5.
Okay, take it.
Number 5, Ant-Man, 7.8 million, holding up pretty well, 39% drop off. After 4 weeks, it made 147 million. Worldwide, it's at 326 million. At a budget of just 130 million. Could end as one at around 170, depending on how well it holds up in the coming weeks. That's pretty good. It's Captain America Thor level.
Which is amazing for a movie called Ant-Man, and not a well-known character at that.
Let me see. The first Thor made 181 million. Captain America, I think it was like 170. 177. Okay.
Right, and this movie probably wouldn't happen without Joe Cornish trying to make this movie for it. Like he's been like a decade or so trying to get this movie made, or that he's been putting off.
And then it got kicked off, right?
And then at the last moment, like when they're ready to get the gears turning on, starting production, he either got kicked off or he left. Pretty much, once you disagree with Marvel, there's not much you can do. You can either accept what they want you to do, or you go.
They've been pretty good though, Marvel. Like despite kicking directors, firing directors because of creative differences, their movies still turn out pretty good. Like the second Thor, they fired the woman director like right before production, and it still turned out pretty well. And same thing with Ant-Man, that they either fire him or he left, and it still turned out pretty well. Both films are well reviewed and done really well at the box office.
Right, you cannot argue with their track record, right?
Yeah,
they haven't been wrong yet.
Yeah, they haven't been. They're kind of like Pixar level. Well, in your case, you think they're beyond Pixar level.
I think they're beyond Pixar level because I think with Pixar there is a talent problem. John Lasseter, well, his car movies, but John Lasseter went into an operating role, some of the old guards are not turning out the movies that they you know, with such frequency, because hey, it's hard to come up with an idea, right? And then they have these young folks, right? But with Marvel, they have this thing down to like a you know, one of these factories, a conveyor belt. You know, you just assemble the pieces and it'll work. It's not as simple as, oh, you can plug anybody in, right? You know, it's more complicated than that. But you know, they pretty much can do that.
Yeah, although I think with Pixar, they have a few misses. You know, they definitely, you know, Cars 2 was a miss. Brave was kind of a miss, but you know, it's not that bad of a miss. I think the tomato meter was 75% and it made like 240 million or something. So not too bad. And then they have Monsters University. I think the tomato meter was around 80% and they made like 260 million. They're good, but they're not like your typical Pixar 90% on the tomato meter level good. But Inside Out looks like they're kind of heading back on the right track, though.
That's the thing. You can definitely see the quality dropping.
Yeah,
right. Basically, because the people who made Pixar great moved on, or they're not. You cannot make that person do a movie a year, so they don't have as deep a bench.
Well, John Lasseter. The main thing is John Lasseter left, and you see the quality of the Disney animated features that John Lasseter was in charge of. You know, like Frozen and Big Hero 6 and Tango. You definitely see his influences. And Wreck-It Ralph. That's like 4 films in a row that's very high quality features that are kind of well reviewed and has done well at the box office. Kind of, you know, the Pixar formula. Although it looks like the people that he put in control are kind of getting the hang of it with Inside Out. We'll have to see how Dinosaur does.
Well, Inside Out's made by the same guy who did what, Finding Nemo or something like that. Let's see. No, not Finding Nemo.
Was it Pete Docter?
Yeah, Pete Docter, who did Monsters and Up.
Yeah, and Up. Yeah,
so he's kind of like an old guard, but you know, you wouldn't expect him to make a movie every year, and that's what Disney asks to do pretty much, or 2 movies a year.
Well, the main person who left is just John Lasseter, though. Like most of the other animators are still working or still there. It's just that they haven't been in charge yet. They don't have that experience of being in charge of the company. Yeah. They made films.
Yeah, then we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes if they can continue on. I mean,
so Inside Out is definitely on the up, but we'll have to see how they do with Dinosaur, which is they kind of had to rework the story and push the deadline up.
And for Dinosaur, is it The Good Dinosaur? Yeah, The Good Dinosaur is literally a movie made by a committee. The director got kicked out, and they assigned a group of people to work on it.
To fix it. Yeah, which isn't bad. It depends. Sometimes it can end well, like Toy Story 2 was like that. Mm-hmm. Or you can end up like Fantastic Four, a complete disaster.
Here's the thing: I trust Disney to make it work, even though you say even though like a work by committee is bad. I think it will work out in this case because they have love of the product. You know,
work by committee isn't that bad for animated features, or animated features in general are kind of work by committee because they're you know. The main people in charge are looking at storyboards and chopping scenes out, and it is kind of a work by committee.
Right. I mean, true, but when we're talking about since that having a director, you have one decision maker. This one you have like a group of people like trying to just coming together and with different ideas or agendas or what have you, right? And that's where you know, like too many cooks in the kitchen comes in, right? I trust Pixar to work this out. I think the Good Dinosaur is going to be one of the better movies from Pixar as well.
Yeah, I trust Pixar too, mainly because of their track record in reworking stories at work. Like Toy Story 2, they just threw the entire thing out and started from scratch. And Toy Story 2 ended up pretty well. Ratatouille, they did something similar where they last minute they brought in Brad Bird to reconfigure the movie. And that turned out really well. Turned out to be one of the best reviewed films too. Mm-hmm. So their track record of reworking stories is pretty good.
Right. Well, let's get back to Marvel and Pixar. It's still an art, right? It's still an art form with them. They don't have it down to a science yet. You know, they don't have the conveyor belt.
I disagree with that.
Okay, we'll have to see.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah,
Marvel, they get down to they can build this factory. They can keep on turning these things out, right? And
yeah,
they already did. They execute on a superhero movie or two every year. They
yeah.
did that, and it did consistently well. Okay, but Pixar
Mm.
has not had the track record up to this point yet.
Well, to me, I think they do.
Even though
I think
Pixar
they
movies
only
are good.
have they only have one real miss, which is Cars 2.
So at this point, we have to agree to disagree. I'd say
Yeah.
Pixar doesn't have the track record yet. And you say
I think most people would agree with me though. You
I
look
don't know.
if you look at their list, they really only have Cars 2.
Yeah,
Sure, it's not a perfect record like what Marvel has done, but Marvel also did the Hulk. The Hulk is kind of a slight blip.
Yeah,
So
the Hulk. But that's Edward Norton. I think they gave it too much. Edward Norton too much leeway. Maybe. There's this big disagreement between Edward Norton and the Marvel.
yeah, so I say if you look at their track record, Pixar, mainly because they've been in business much longer, has a better track record.
Okay, but
So we
okay.
have to
Let me
disagree there.
yeah. Let agree to disagree. But with the Hulk, Edward Norton is the actor and the director. You cannot fire the
No,
guy.
he didn't direct it. He didn't direct it.
Directed. I
No,
think
it's
he wrote it
that.
or something like that. But anyway, he has this big thing control over it. I think.
Yeah, well, that's how Ed Norton has over a lot of his movies. Directors who work with him have said that he's very involved.
Right.
He's involved as in like he questions a lot of things, and he's a very strong-willed, stubborn guy. Like you always hear that he's pretty outspoken, and he's was it in one of the films that he actually kind of kicked the director out and took control of the movie. The X was it the
American History X.
Yeah, American History X. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that turned out well. But Ed Norton says some difficult people like him you can excuse because he's actually talented, and in his troubled productions, the movies end up turning out decent. Even the Hulk, even though on a critical level it wasn't that well reviewed, fans thought it was satisfying. Let's just put it at that.
Well, they probably thought it was better than the first Hulk movie. Ang Lee directed.
Yeah, Ang Lee.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Then we'll have to leave it at that.
We'll just leave it at that.
We'll come back to this, of course. I mean,
Although I think our level of difference isn't that far off.
It's not.
We both agree that they're very good. They're both very good brands.
They are, but I'm just saying that Pixar, they still have not gotten the process down. That's what I'm saying.
All right. You want to do number 6?
I will do number 6. Minions made 7.4 million over the weekend. In its 5th week, experienced a 40.3% drop, and it made 302 million domestic, and worldwide it's at 912 million. It's nearing the $1 billion mark.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think it crossed, made more than Despicable Me 2 on a worldwide level.
Oh wow!
Right. Let me see. Let me do a quick look.
Well, you're looking at a budget of just 74 million.
The figure for Me 2 worldwide is 970, so it's not there yet.
But it's getting there.
It's getting there. But on the foreign overseas market, it crossed Despicable Me 2.
Okay.
So foreign overseas market is 602 for Despicable Me 2, and for Minions is 609. It's getting there.
All right. Let's move on to number 7, the other debut, Ricki and the Flash, a movie starring Meryl Streep. I think the reviews are only kind of in the middle, not super great, right?
Yeah, it's
60%. I guess is okay. In Meryl Streep terms, it might be on the lower end, but hey, it's still fresh. And remember last week you talked about how they the actress who plays her daughter. Maybe I didn't get the joke, but the actress who played her daughter is actually her daughter.
Well, it wasn't a joke. I just didn't know that. The last name threw me off.
Oh, really? So you didn't know that either?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Me neither. I thought maybe you knew it, but you were just being...
I'm not that intelligent. I couldn't figure out that joke. But, it's just amazing that, hey, they look and act the same. Could
Yeah,
they relate it? And then I check out to see if they're related. I say, oh, the last name is different. So no, I just went beyond just checking the last name, and you know how it goes, right? Sometimes they get married, they change the names and whatever.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's pretty funny. You're like, man, they actually got someone who looks and acts like her, and I was like, wow, you know, that's a great casting director. You know, they found someone who not only looks like her but also acts like her. That's amazing.
Well, they did found someone. It just turned out that someone is Meryl Streep's daughter.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of gave the casting director too much credit. Well, I gave him or her too much credit when it's probably just like Meryl Streep going, hey, you can hire my daughter to play my daughter.
True. It's not going to be a lot of acting there. So,
right.
Hey, Ricki and the Flash. I thought it would make 15 million. I think you were saying something around, what, 20?
No, not 20.
Really? No? Or maybe I thought it would do 20. I don't know. Anyway, I was going high on it. No, it was a 10.
I was saying around 10 or less.
Yeah, I thought we did 10. Maybe we'll have to come back.
Maybe we did. Maybe both of us did 10, which is not too far off.
Right. I think we both did 10. So which is pretty good. Hey, we got something close.
Yeah,
we got close to Ricki and the Flash. Reviews weren't good according to Meryl Streep standard, right?
I don't know what the budget is. It doesn't seem like a very high budget movie. So I guess this is kind of a okay showing for Meryl Streep. Hopefully it'll have legs, and being a woman movie, and there aren't many movies targeting that demographic. Maybe it'll stay in theaters for a while and end up like the Woman
in Gold?
Yeah, the Woman in Gold, the Helen Mirren movie, and end up making more than 30 million.
You know, it says 70, but this is just an estimate. It'll make less than that if it's 6 million something.
Oh, yeah. Could be. Let's move on to number 8, Trainwreck. This weekend, it made 6.3 million, holding up really well, just a 34% drop-off. And after 4 weeks of release, it's already made 91 million at a budget of just 35 million. So it's made almost 3 times its budget.
Yeah, and this movie has a chance to cross 100 million.
Yeah, which a lot of people probably weren't expecting, right?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I thought it would do 15, open to 15 or so, and maybe go on to make 50, 55.
I was looking at this as just an indie film when I first saw the trailer for it, until I saw like Joe Apatow's name attached, and I'm like, okay, maybe this can do a little bit more than indie level.
Right. Hey, that guy's Judd Apatow, right?
Yeah, Judd Apatow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's one of the surprises of the summer. This movie right now is in the news for the theater shooting, right? But if you take that out, it's one of the surprises of the summer. Yeah. Well reviewed, commercially successful. We probably have a new star in Amy Schumer. Here's the thing: is Amy Schumer said this movie's kind of based on her life. She did some things that's similar to the to the character that she played. And here's the thing: it's kind of hard to follow that up when you do a movie that's personal. It's kind of like the Diablo Cody, that stripper turned screenwriter.
Oh, she used to be a stripper.
Yeah, she used to be a stripper. Then she wrote the screenplay to I don't know what one of those things, like Juno, right?
Yeah,
and some other things. Anyway, so we have to see if this is just a one-off. But she probably have a couple of movies left in her.
I think she might be okay because she's also a stand-up comedian, and she's been working this material her whole career, so she might have a lot more to draw from. Just because of her stand-up. Well, so hopefully
we will see. Yeah, if you can leverage this into something bigger and better. But the thing is that as long as she keeps her movie on budget, right, in the 30 million range, I think she's going to do okay.
Yeah. And with comedies, there's no reason to up the budget that much.
Right. She already garnered a lot of goodwill with this movie. Studio's gonna, hey, let's do a comedy together.
She's probably getting offers left and right now.
Right. All right. Okay, let's move on to number 9, Pixels, the Adam Sandler video game movie, made 5.4 million, and in its third week, and it dropped 48% 8.3%, and it's only made 57.6 million so far.
At a budget of 88 million. So domestically, it's going to lose money. Worldwide, comedians in general aren't big on the foreign market. So, and worldwide, the total is 131 million, which is not that great, but I'm not sure how wide it's open in the foreign markets yet. Even with its worldwide total right now, it's still losing money. On average, you only get about 45% of the foreign box office. Doesn't look like it's going to make money, even in the foreign markets.
Right. This is one of those movies that's based on a 2-minute short. It tried to bank on nostalgia for the 80s video game characters. And, it's trying to appeal to Adam Sandler fans, but it's not an Adam Sandler movie.
Right.
So that's why we see the box office as it is.
And even, Chris Columbus couldn't help it. I mean, Chris Columbus has done a number of hits in the past, including Harry Potter, the Home Alone movies. He has a track record, but he couldn't, make this thing work better. Right. It's not an outright complete bomb like Fantastic Four, for instance.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Like Pixar, the expectation was it's going to do 40, right? It's going to open to 40 and probably gross, over 100 million, right? But then that's not going to do that.
Yeah, it's not going to do that. Yeah, it looks like you'll probably top out at around like 65, maybe.
Could do 70. I don't know.
Yeah, it could do 70. Yeah, but still, with a budget of 88 million, it's going to lose money.
Well, there's still the overseas market. It seems like it's doing okay overseas. Not great, but it's still doing okay, right? Yeah. And then there's still the home video market for this.
Right. I think if it can make 180 worldwide, if you can make twice your budget, you can at least break even with the home video market. But yeah, definitely the figure they need to hit is 180 worldwide, and currently it's at what 140, 130. Yeah, but I'm not sure how why it's been released yet.
Right, it doesn't look like that. That doesn't look that why. Only a couple reporting in probably Russia, Europe.
Well, although you're not sure how updated that list is, then.
Right.
All right, let's move on to number 10.
Okay.
Southpaw, 4.8 million this weekend, holding up decent, 38% drop off. After 3 weeks, it has made 41 million at a budget of 30 million. So it's not bad. It has a chance to, make 50 million. And I think that's pretty good for Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
I think, it's a typical Jake Gyllenhaal movie. That's what his movies make.
It's kind of in his range, and, it's made for a relatively modest budget. So it's going to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it might get him an Oscar nomination, but I don't think he'll get any Best Picture nomination or Best Director or Best Writer.
I'm not sure if he's going to get an Oscar nomination. He's probably going to get nominated for something, an acting award. With the various awards out there, right? Yeah. But I'm not sure about Oscar. But we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it is by the Weinstein company, so they're going to lobby hard. So he might get an Oscar nomination.
You have to bang on the Weinstein brothers. I mean, they can get a movie that's won on Rotten Tomatoes get Oscar nominations.
Right. Fantastic Four, if it's released by them, it's gonna get nominated for special effects.
No, they might even get a Best Actor nomination.
Okay.
The Weinstein brothers, they know how to work their magic.
Or whatever they do call magic, quote unquote magic.
Even though the next movie didn't fall in the top 10, it is one of the new wide releases at number 11. Shaun the Sheep movie made 4 million. It's made by the Almond Studio, who made the Wallace and Gromit movies. It's really well reviewed, like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm surprised it didn't do better.
Well, here's the thing. It's been released everywhere except in theaters in the United States. It's on home video. It's on like VOD.
Oh, it's on VOD.
Theaters. Yeah, it's in everywhere.
It's on home video.
I don't know. I don't know why it's released in theaters.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's already on DVD? Maybe in other countries, but not in the US, right? probably in the UK or some or other markets, but probably not in the US though. It definitely opened in foreign markets before the US. Like it's already playing in China, the UK, bunch of other countries.
Right.
I'm curious to see what the budget is because worldwide it made 65 million already. The budget for Wallace and Gromit was 30 million, and Shaun the Sheep I think probably cost a lot less because they say I read an article that said that because they didn't have to animate the mouth, that saved them a lot of money. Because they didn't have to animate mouth movements. They were able to get a lot done a lot quicker, so they were able to save a lot of money. So if the budget for this movie is, let's say, 20 million, since the Wallace and Gromit movies are a lot more complicated, that movie only cost 30 million to make. Maybe this one only cost 20 million, and if the budget is only 20 million, 65 million worldwide gross is pretty good.
Maybe, but here's the thing. Like with movie studios, they add everything to the bill. If they can do it, they'll add it. So it'll lose money.
Yeah, in the end, they'll say they lose money. But I'm just saying, in general, if the budget is only 20 million, the worldwide total of 65 million is pretty good. But I also read in an article, Lionsgate, the people who are releasing it in the US, they said the magic number they need to hit to break even is 15 million at the box office.
Yeah, they bought the rights for I think about 10 or so or something like that. Well, anyway, it's some number less than 15.
Yeah,
and then they then they have to throw in marketing and everything, and then once they reach they'll make money.
I think the 15 million includes marketing. I think they only got the rights. I read somewhere they got the rights for really cheap, like just 3 or 4 million for the US. And then they said their magic number to hit to break even at the box office is 15. So I guess they spent 10 million on marketing, and then 3 to 4 million getting the rights. They're not going to make 15 since it opened at 4 million. Total there is at it opened last Wednesday, so total is at 5.6 million. Doesn't look like they'll get to 15, but they might get close though. What do you think?
I'm not sure. I mean, because 15, I think you could do 15, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's 5 million now. Then it's gonna slowly go. But it's tough, right? It's only open to 4 million.
Yeah, so the problem with them is holding on to the screens that they already have.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it opened on Wednesday. It's not like it opened on Friday, right? And like 5 days, and the gross is only 4 million. I don't know, 15. Could they even do 10? I don't know if they can do 10.
Well, it's already at 5.6. So.
It is, but the drop off is huge. So we'll see. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see in the coming weeks. We'll see if it can hold its theaters. Maybe good word of mouth will help it reach 15. But yeah, we'll just have to see next weekend. But the magic number that Lionsgate said they need to hit is 15 million.
Okay.
All right.
Let's move on to the openings. We have The Man from U.N.C.L.E, based on a 70s or 80s TV show, directed by Guy Ritchie, stars Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer. Grant is in it, so it's kind of like a Mission Impossible with British actors.
Yeah, or James Bond.
Right. It's based on one. It's in the same genre, spy action.
Totally has a James Bond feel to it. With Bond girls.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, Tom Cruise was supposed to be in this movie.
Oh.
And he dropped out for
what?
Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Interesting bit of trivia there. And then we have Straight Outta Compton, biopic about the rap group NWA, which Dr. Dre and Ice Cube is part of, or was part of.
All right. Should we start with Man from U.N.C.L.E?
Yes.
The trailer does look decent. It looks like a James Bond type movie. Looks like a solid movie that could be, entertaining with very good-looking people.
It is. It's kind of like an action comedy, sort of. Henry Cavill kind of reminds me of Johnny Depp, one of the characters that Johnny Depp plays.
The only thing is, no one in this movie is a draw at the box office. I mean, Armie Hammer.
Hugh Grant used to be.
Yeah, Hugh Grant used to be. But Henry Cavill, other than Superman, is not a huge draw. Right. Armie Hammer with Lone Ranger,
Mm-hmm.
Big Dot. No one in this movie is a huge draw, but the trailer looks decent, and Guy Ritchie has done well with these kind of movies.
True, but what has he done lately? You know.
The Sherlock Holmes movies they have done well.
No. What I'm saying is like he's been out of the thing for a while,
Yeah,
right?
he's been,
Sherlock
yeah.
Holmes, it's released
It's
in
weird. It's
2009.
interesting. Wow, yeah, he took a long break.
Well, being married to Madonna will do that to you. So anyway, that was a joke.
Yeah. All right, so what
Okay.
number do you put at it?
I don't see it doing that well. I probably put it in the 30 to 35 range.
Whoa, you're that high?
That's called high?
Yeah, I think 30 to 35 is pretty high.
Okay. I thought, those are the new normal.
All right. It is opening super wide though, 3,450 theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking 15.
Warner Brothers gonna put like this marketing muscle behind this movie.
Yeah,
It's gonna be one of the bigger movies of the summer, right before school starts.
It is true though. When you look at the number of theaters, it is, it should do at least 20. But I'm going with 15. I know here 15 to 20. How's that?
Okay, 15 to 20 is not a lot. Not much better, but I think it's gonna do 30 to 35 because it's the new release that's gonna have action, adventure.
Yeah, going for the same audience as Mission Impossible, pretty much.
Mission Impossible, and hey, there's some comedy in this as well.
Mission Impossible is the new one is a lot jokier than the previous ones. I'm using the same word that one of the critics used.
Okay, jokier. But this is jokier from the start, from the get-go. This is like, this is built in.
Yeah, right. Not just like, hey, injected.
Yeah, right. They try to make it like a comedic take on this thing instead of a straight up action movie.
Right. I have to say that the trailer is kind of solid though.
It is. But again, you're talking about Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer.
Yeah, right.
Two of the most nondescript actors.
Yeah. Kind of like what's his name? The guy who plays Batman, Chris O'Donnell. Just kind of what we plan, no personality, just kind of like a good-looking guy. Although Armie Hammer could be one of those. He's kind of like if he's successful, he would have been.
Armie Hammer.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Reminds me of Ryan Reynolds.
Not Ryan Reynolds. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, you mean the Star-Lord guy?
Yeah.
We know his name.
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
Okay, Chris Pratt. Yeah, we talked about him last week, I believe.
Yeah. Anyway. Like if Armie Hammer, his potential is Chris Pratt. Let's put it this way.
I see him as a Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. In general, I'm saying like if he broke out of the Ryan Reynolds mode, he would be Chris Pratt. But it doesn't seem like he can break out of that mode.
I'm not gonna touch that, but okay. All right.
Of course, I've only seen one movie with Armie Hammer, and that's the Lone Ranger movie.
Yeah, still I'm saying he's in the mode of like bland white guy. Doesn't have a lot of personality.
He seemed like he has a little bit of personality, like from in the Lone Ranger movies, a little bit. Not he definitely has more than Chris O'Donnell. Let's put it this way. Like Chris O'Donnell doesn't really have he's just this good-looking bland guy, no personality. But
just a general screen presence. Like you look at the guy and you don't remember who he is.
That's true. Yeah, you are right about that. I didn't even know it was Armie Hammer until I saw the credits. I'm like, oh, I kept on saying, who is that guy when I'm watching it? I'm like, this is a big movie. Who is he? Is he a new actor? And then I'm like, oh, it's Armie Hammer.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah. All right, so I'm saying 15 to 20. You're saying 30 to 35.
Yes.
What about Straight Outta Compton?
Oh, I think this is going to be the bigger movie. Straight Up Compton.
So?
This is gonna. Yeah, I think has. Well, I'm not saying in terms of. It has like really good buzz. It looks really good, and NWA is really influential in the rap world. So I think it's gonna do well. I'm not sure if it could beat out the Man from U.N.C.L.E. because just because of the theater count.
Straight Outta Compton is at, oh yeah. It's only at 2,600 theaters.
Right, but I can see this doing really well.
Yeah, I can see it doing really well too. The trailer looks great, and it's getting really good buzz. And on Rotten Tomatoes, even though there's only 12 reviews, it's at 92%, which is pretty high.
And this movie's gonna be front loaded.
Yeah, and it's gonna, the African American crowd. There aren't any movies in the top 10 that not that it's not for them, but it's like you usually see one of these movies targeted towards that demographic, but there hasn't been one in a while, or at least a good one. So this one looks like it's gonna draw them, and because of the buzz, can go out of that demographic.
And this has the blessing and the involvement of the members from NWA. Let me throw this out there. It's gonna do 30.
30 is pretty high. I'll go with, just by the theater count, I'll go with 25.
Not a big difference, but it's like 5 million, but it could be significant.
Because of the numbers I'm throwing out, Straight Outta Compton would outgross the Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Right. Which it could do. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. could completely bomb, just like the Long Ranger.
Although I think the Man from U.N.C.L.E. probably has, what kind of buzz does it have? I haven't heard bad things, but I haven't.
Yeah, it's just like its stars. It's kind of bland. It doesn't have any buzz. It's kind of like neutral. It's just good to see, but why not? Why would I watch Mission Impossible instead?
Yeah, true. Yeah. All right, we'll see. We'll see if there's an upset this weekend.
Okay. It's completely possible.
Your numbers, you're saying the Man from U.N.C.L.E. will come out on top, and then with my numbers, I'm saying Straight Outta Compton will come out on top. We'll see who's right.
All right. Come back next week. We'll find out.
All right.
All right, and thanks for listening.
Okay, see you guys next week.